Hi guys, so I want to talk about what I call the three-tier banking system for profit first. So as far as I know, I'm the only person who's created this system, but what you will find is, if you read the book or you learn about the system, I always say to my clients who I work with or we work with at CTA, with Profit First, it's 80% the foundations of and the philosophy of Profit First. It's 20% fine tuning it to you. So it's not an exact science, but I have found personally this works and it makes things a lot easier. So just want to really quickly walk you through the three-tier banking system. It's not as complicated as it looks. So just take your eyes to the left of the screen initially. So when you get started in Profit First, you are probably more than likely got a bank you already use. And for most people, it's a traditional high street bank. It's going to be something like Santander, Barclays, Lloyds. They're just some examples, but a main high street bank, more than likely. Doesn't matter if that's not the case, don't worry. You can still tweak this to work for you, but that's often the case for a lot of people if you've been in business for at least a handful of years. So for us, it was Santander. And more than likely, you've probably got one main bank account. I'm not going to go into why that's not a good idea, but it goes against everything about Profit First. So that simple thing of splitting it into two and having one for your income, one for your expenses, with your main bank. So for Santander, I already had a second account. Most people have a VAT or a tax savings account. So I use one for income, one for expenses. Your main account that you've got everything going in and out, usually it's easier to make that your expenses account and use a second account for income. I won't go into all of the details why. That's probably a different video, but that's my tip because it's relatively easy to do. Then what you want to do is you want to, as part of what I call tier 2, set up a new account, ideally with a fintech bank. So the likes of Starling, Monzo, Tide, Revolut, these kind of ones that let you create spaces or pots or whatever they want to call it. Personally, I quite like Starling, but they as long as they create a pot, that's the main concept here. And then you can create as many spaces and pots for the extra Profit First accounts as we want. So typically, it's going to be the main ones, almost certainly, while the kind of compulsory ones would be your profit, your owners paying your tax. Those three, your profit, owners paying your tax, they benefit you as the owner. And then, depending on your type of business and your size of business, you're more than likely going to need a VAT pot, which is really important if you're VAT registered. It's completely transformed how you manage your cash. If you create a separate pot for VAT and you allocate it every week. And then if you've got a business that buys and sells things, or you're a builder, you've got loads of materials, or you're Amazon selling, you've got loads of stock, a cost of goods sold, which we sometimes call COGS, cost of goods sold. So, I work for a local coffee shop, and that would be their coffee beans, and that would be another pot. But if you don't have cost of goods sold, don't sort of worry about it. But the main ones are certainly profit, owners pay, and tax. And then you've possibly got VAT and COGS, tier 2. And every week you would send the money from your income account and split it into your pots. What's left will go to your expenses account to run your business. That's in a nutshell, the simplicity of the system. There's a lot more nuances to it in terms of what's the amount to put aside. So, it's like going to the gym without a nutrition plan, or without a workout plan. So you need, and without having any goals in terms of where you're going as well. Tier 3, not as urgent, in the short term, but if you want to be putting money aside for your profit and your owner's pay, your mind plays funny games. If you see the money there, it's the whole point of putting it into pots in the first place. You want to know it's there. So what we want to do is we want to use tier 2 as a short term, divvy it all up. Tier 3, put the profit and the tax completely out of sight and out of mind. Ideally, a bank where it's not easy to access. I've got one where I have to literally phone them up to move money around, because the whole point is you can't just dip in and mess around with the money or use it, for the next shiny new thing. So that's my tip. I call it the three-tier banking system for Profit First. Give me a shout, guys, if you've got any questions. Thanks.